What's going on, guys? Welcome back to NLX. My name is Jake, and today I am back with another Skater XL trick tip for you. And this time we're going to get into tail slides both in the street and on vert. So let's get into it. Okay guys, so we're going to begin with tail slides on a ledge, because I think that's a little bit more simple and probably the more common trick that people are going to be doing in this game rather than starting on transition. And I also think it's a little bit more straightforward and commonplace. So before we get into it, I do want to say that I am on the default settings. So everyone that's on console right now, these settings are going to be exactly the same ones that you're dealing with. So no difference there at all. So this is going to be exactly how the trick's going to look for you as well. So starting out, obviously you're going to want to approach the ledge at an angle about like this. That's kind of what I like, just right about like that. And then once you're lined up, basically the trick is obviously you're going to pull the trigger to rotate in the air, right? So there's multiple ways that you could decide to do this trick, and that's where the element of style comes into place in this game. Basically, you could just pull the trigger until you get to a point where your tail is going to be all the way over the ledge, and that is a legitimate way to do the trick. But if you want to add a little bit of style to it, you can kind of finish the rotation with the right stick. And I think that makes it look a little bit more realistic. It's kind of like in, I don't know, like in real skateboarding, you don't just fully rotate with your body to get into a grind. You kind of rotate with your shoulders to start, and then you finish with your hips and your legs. So it's really up to you guys how you want to do that. But basically, yeah, you just, gauge the height of your ollie and get kind of comfortable with that. And then once you're the right distance away, you're gonna pop your ollie with the right stick, pull the right trigger, and then once I'm about 45 degrees, I then take the right stick and I pull it to the left and down. So kind of in a diagonal movement there, that kind of puts weight on your tail and shifts the last little 45 degrees that you need to get into the tail slide. And it's obviously the same, it's going to be the same way with front tails. Obviously just you're going to take the right stick and shift it down and to the right, and you're going to pull the left trigger. So obviously it's just different in that way, but it's going to be kind of the same story. And obviously it's going to be the same for switch. You're just going to use the different stick and kind of pull in obviously the different direction. So if I want to do a switchback tail, you're going to push up on the left stick, pull the left trigger, and line up the tail. And then for that last little bit of hip rotation, you use the left stick as well, and you push it kind of up into the left, and that's going to get you that last little bit of rotation. So if you watch the controller, my stick ends up being right here when I'm in the slide. Approach the ledge, pop, push the stick there. Once you're about 45 degrees with the trigger, at that point you can let off the trigger, and the rest of the rotation is finished by the hips and legs of the skater. And I think doing it like that creates a much more stylish and realistic looking tail slide. And then obviously it's going to be the same thing with switch front tails. But once again, it's just going to be about, kind of lining up and knowing the distance of your ollie and just getting that tail over the ledge and completing that rotation with the stick. But yeah, that's the basic rundown of doing tail slides on a ledge. Next, I'm going to show you guys how to do it in transition. Okay, so now we are at the Easy Day mini ramp test map. I think this is the most consistent transition skating available in the game right now. So that's why we're going to use this map. And so I know, at least for me, as soon as I saw the new update come out and saw that they added, you know, transition skating like legitimately and lip tricks and all that stuff, the first thing I wanted to do was like a steezy backtail. And it was honestly really difficult at first. It took me a really long time to kind of get the hang of it because it is a little weird. And there's multiple ways that you can do this too. It's very similar to the tail slide on a ledge, but you kind of have to work within the design choices that they've made for transition skating. So you can pop into this trick. It's very inconsistent in my experience. It's very difficult to get the right kind of pop and to get them to realistically land in a tail slide. So the way I do it is more of a, you basically do a power slide at the top of the ramp. So power sliding is pushing the sticks together or pulling them apart, right? And that's going to be, so say we're doing a back tail. You're basically going to power slide and pull the right trigger, and then as he's like getting into it, you're going to transition from pushing the sticks together like this to rolling them down to pushing his weight onto his tail. So for instance, like that. And it takes a little bit to get used to, and it is kind of difficult to like line it up correctly because you do kind of power slide a good amount. And it's the same thing with front tails, except obviously you're going to power slide the opposite way. And I find that I at least have a more difficult time getting into front tails in this game. I very often, the board will go to lip rather than getting into the tail slide. But that's probably just because I'm bad at them more than anything. But back tails are pretty consistent, I find. And I think they look pretty good as well. So it's really just a matter of playing with it, getting comfortable with the design choices that they've made for transition skating, and kind of playing the game within those bounds and understanding like you will lock into the grind once you hit the coping. So you basically just have to get whatever you're trying to slide or grind on to hit that coping before the other parts of your board. So that's kind of where the power slide comes in, is you just have to get that tail to the coping before the rest of your board. And the only real way to do that is to kind of power slide. Dude, I swear I can do the front tails, but there we go. And a little steezy little revert there. But yeah, guys, I hope this was helpful for you. I know when I first started skating transition in this game, the tail slides were one of the tricks that made the least sense to me, and I really kind of had to feel it out and figure out how to make that trick work in this game. But it was definitely one of the tricks I wanted to do first. So I just figured I would share what I've learned with you guys and hopefully help you guys out. And if you enjoyed this video, or if it did help you out, feel free to leave a like. And if you would like to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe. I'm going to have many more Skater XL trick tip videos coming out in the near future. And if you'd like to see some more Skater XL gameplay, feel free to check me out on Twitch. I stream every day at 5 p.m. except for Mondays and Fridays. And it's usually a pretty good time over there. It's very chill, and we have a good time. So once again, guys, thanks for watching, and praise the games. Peace, guys.